Sharon Stone is undeniably one of Hollywood's most captivating and celebrated actresses. Her performances on screen have solidified her status as a cultural icon, but her life's work stretches far beyond the camera. Sharon's transformation into a humanitarian advocate, particularly her dedication to Tibetan freedom and her profound relationship with the 14th Dalai Lama, Tenzin Gyatso, tells the story of a woman who has used her fame for more than just personal success. Stone's life is a testament to the power of spiritual growth, compassion, and the pursuit of justice in a world often driven by materialism and ego. Her connection with the Dalai Lama has been a cornerstone of her personal and spiritual development. This relationship has reshaped her worldview and given her the strength to speak out on behalf of oppressed communities, especially the people of Tibet. Stone's dedication to the cause of Tibetan freedom and her commitment to promoting human rights demonstrate her deep-rooted belief in the importance of compassion and kindness. Yet, her journey has not been without its challenges. From the highs of receiving global recognition for her activism to the lows of public backlash following controversial comments, Stone's path is a remarkable narrative of personal growth, resilience, and unwavering commitment to justice. Ready to explore the power of kindness and activism? Hit that subscribe channel button and let's make a difference together. The meeting that changed everything. Sharon Stone's connection with the Dalai Lama. Sharon Stone's journey toward spiritual awakening began when she first encountered the Dalai Lama, the spiritual leader of Tibetan Buddhism, during a human rights and spirituality event. This moment was not just a fleeting interaction but a profound experience that fundamentally altered her perspective on life, fame, and compassion. Can you imagine how one meeting could change the entire trajectory of your life? For Stone, this was a pivotal moment, a catalyst for a lifelong journey of inner growth and activism. Before meeting the Dalai Lama, Sharon Stone was already a globally recognized actress. Famous for her roles in films such as Basic Instinct and Casino. However, despite her success, she felt a sense of disconnection, something that many people in high-pressure, high-visibility careers can relate to. The world of Hollywood, with its endless cycles of competition, public scrutiny, and material pursuit, often leaves little room for introspection or spiritual growth. Stone's life was filled with fame, but not necessarily with meaning. How many of us chase success, only to realize that it doesn't bring the fulfillment we imagined? The Dalai Lama's teachings on compassion, forgiveness, and nonviolence offered Sharon a new lens through which to view the world. She has often spoken about how his words resonated deeply with her, awakening a desire to live a life guided by kindness and understanding rather than ambition and ego. It's a concept that may seem simple. After all, compassion is a universal value, but in a world driven by self-interest, embodying true compassion is a radical act. In the years that followed her meeting with the Dalai Lama, Sharon Stone embraced these teachings not just as abstract philosophies but as principles to guide her daily life. Compassion became a guiding force, a tool for reframing the challenges she faced both personally and professionally. Isn't it interesting how compassion can change everything? Not just in our relationships with others but in our relationship with ourselves? Sharon began to see the world through the lens of interconnectedness. Recognizing that compassion wasn't just about feeling empathy for others, it was a practice that could bring healing to both individuals and society at large. For Stone, the Dalai Lama's emphasis on nonviolence and forgiveness was especially powerful. In an industry like Hollywood, where competition can breed hostility and ego often overshadows collaboration, embracing nonviolence is a radical departure from the norm. Imagine navigating the cutthroat world of acting, not with a focus on winning or being better than others but with a mindset rooted in kindness and the desire to uplift those around you. This shift in perspective fundamentally altered how Sharon approached her career and her relationships. Through her connection with the Dalai Lama, Stone began to integrate mindfulness and compassion into her activism, becoming a strong advocate for human rights and social justice. Her support for Tibetan autonomy, in particular, reflects her deep commitment to the Dalai Lama's teachings and her desire to bring about real change in the world. The Dalai Lama's teachings, a philosophical guide to compassion and forgiveness. The Dalai Lama's teachings are deeply rooted in Tibetan Buddhism, which emphasizes compassion as the key to resolving conflict and promoting peace. The Dalai Lama himself is a symbol of this philosophy, having dedicated his life to advocating for nonviolence and the peaceful resolution of the Tibetan struggle for autonomy. For Sharon Stone, these principles have become a guiding force, shaping both her activism and her personal life. One of the core teachings that Sharon has embraced is the idea of karuna, the Sanskrit word for compassion. In Tibetan Buddhism, karuna is not just a feeling of sympathy for others but an active desire to alleviate their suffering. It's about recognizing that all beings are interconnected, and that one person's happiness or suffering impacts the well-being of others. Isn't it a beautiful idea, that by showing compassion to others, we are in turn bringing more peace and happiness into our own lives? The Dalai Lama's emphasis on karuna resonated with Sharon, who has often spoken about how his teachings helped her reframe the way she viewed the world. Before meeting the Dalai Lama, Stone, like many in her position, was focused on external validation, success, fame, and wealth. But the Dalai Lama's words challenged her to look beyond herself and to recognize the suffering of others, particularly the people of Tibet, who have endured decades of political repression and cultural erosion under Chinese rule. In Tibetan Buddhism, compassion is not seen as a passive state but as an active force that drives us to take action in the world. Sharon Stone's activism reflects this belief. She has used her platform to raise awareness about the ongoing human rights violations in Tibet, advocating for the preservation of Tibetan culture, religion, and identity. Her involvement in this cause is not just about speaking out, it's about embodying the principles of compassion and kindness that the Dalai Lama has taught her. One of the most powerful lessons that Sharon has learned from the Dalai Lama is the importance of forgiveness. In Tibetan Buddhism, forgiveness is seen as a way of releasing anger and resentment, allowing us to move forward without being weighed down by negative emotions. For someone like Sharon, who has faced public scrutiny and criticism throughout her career, learning to forgive, both others and herself, has been transformative. Imagine the freedom that comes with forgiveness, the ability to let go of past hurts and to approach life with an open heart. Sharon has spoken about how the Dalai Lama's teachings on forgiveness have helped her navigate the challenges of fame, where the pressure to maintain a public persona can often lead to disconnection from one's true self. By practicing forgiveness, she has been able to embrace a more compassionate and forgiving approach to life, one that allows her to remain grounded even in the face of adversity. Sharon Stone's advocacy for Tibetan freedom, a voice for the oppressed. Sharon Stone's connection with the Dalai Lama and her embrace of Tibetan Buddhism's teachings on compassion and forgiveness have profoundly influenced her activism. One of the most significant causes that she has championed is Tibetan freedom, a struggle that has been ongoing since Tibet was annexed by China in 1950. The Tibetan people have endured decades of political repression, religious oppression, and cultural erosion under Chinese rule. Since the failed Tibetan uprising in 1959, the Dalai Lama has lived in exile, and the fight for Tibetan autonomy remains one of the most contentious human rights issues in the world today. For Sharon Stone, this cause is deeply personal, as it aligns with her belief in compassion and justice for all people. Through her involvement in organizations like the International Campaign for Tibet, ICT, Sharon has used her platform to raise international awareness about the plight of the Tibetan people. She has participated in numerous high-profile events advocating for Tibetan freedom. Often speaking about the destruction of monasteries, the arrest and torture of political prisoners, and the restrictions placed on religious practices in Tibet. Can you imagine what it must be like for the Tibetan people to see their culture and religion systematically eroded over decades? Sharon Stone's dedication to this cause is a reminder that, in a world where so many voices go unheard, it is crucial for those with platforms to amplify the stories of the oppressed. One of the reasons why Sharon's involvement in the Tibetan cause has been so impactful is because of her status as a Hollywood star. Celebrities have the power to draw attention to global causes that might otherwise be overlooked, and Stone has used this influence to bring much-needed attention to the Tibetan struggle. Her participation in events for the ICT has helped to elevate the conversation around Tibet, inspiring others to take action and support the cause of Tibetan freedom. Sharon Stone's activism goes beyond just lending her voice to the Tibetan cause. She has also worked to build bridges between the Tibetan people and the international community, encouraging greater awareness and solidarity. Her commitment to promoting the preservation of Tibetan culture, religion, and identity reflects her deep respect for the Dalai Lama's teachings and her desire to create a more compassionate and just world. Compassionate action in Hollywood. Sharon Stone's transformation. Sharon Stone's journey of spiritual awakening and activism has had a profound impact not only on her personal life but also on her approach to her career in Hollywood. The film industry is notoriously competitive, often driven by ego and materialism. Yet, Sharon has found a way to navigate this environment with a sense of compassion and mindfulness, guided by the principles she learned from the Dalai Lama. In interviews, Stone has spoken about how, before meeting the Dalai Lama, she often felt disconnected from herself and overwhelmed by the pressures of Hollywood. The constant need for external validation, whether through box office success or critical acclaim, left her feeling empty, despite her achievements. However, after learning about the value of compassion and mindfulness, she began to shift her focus away from external success and toward inner peace. Isn't it fascinating how a change in mindset can transform how we experience the world? For Sharon, this shift allowed her to approach her career in a new way. Rather than seeing acting as a means of gaining fame or success, she began to view it as an opportunity to connect with others and to express compassion through her work. One of the key lessons that Sharon has taken from the Dalai Lama is the importance of humility. In an industry where ego often reigns supreme, embracing humility is no easy task. However, Sharon has found that by looking beyond herself and focusing on the well-being of others, she is able to maintain a sense of balance and groundedness, even in the face of fame. This humility has also influenced her relationships within the industry. Rather than seeing her peers as competitors, Sharon has embraced a more collaborative and compassionate approach to her work. She has spoken about how she strives to create a positive and supportive environment on set, recognizing that the success of a film is not just about individual performances but about the collective effort of the cast and crew. Sharon's transformation in Hollywood is a powerful reminder that even in industries driven by materialism and competition, it is possible to live a life guided by compassion and mindfulness. Her journey serves as an inspiration to all of us, encouraging us to approach our work and our relationships with kindness and humility. Sharon Stone's controversial comments on China and Tibet, a lesson in activism's challenges. While Sharon Stone's dedication to Tibetan freedom has been unwavering, her activism has not been without controversy. One of the most significant controversies surrounding her involvement in the Tibetan cause came in 2008, following a devastating earthquake in Sichuan, China. During an interview at the Cannes Film Festival, Stone made comments that were widely perceived as insensitive, suggesting that the earthquake might have been karma for China's treatment of Tibet. These remarks sparked a firestorm of criticism, particularly from Chinese media and citizens. Many saw her comments as disrespectful to the victims of the earthquake, and they led to a significant backlash, including a boycott of her films in China. The incident became a major public relations crisis for Stone, highlighting the challenges that celebrities face when they engage in political activism. Sharon later issued a public apology, explaining that her comments had been misunderstood and that she had not intended to suggest that the victims of the earthquake deserved their suffering. She expressed regret for the pain her remarks had caused and reaffirmed her commitment to the cause of Tibetan freedom. This controversy serves as a reminder of the difficulties that activists, especially those in the public eye, face when speaking out on politically sensitive issues. It's a fine line to walk, balancing the desire to raise awareness about important causes with the risk of being misunderstood or misrepresented. For Sharon Stone, this incident was a painful lesson in the complexities of global activism, but it did not deter her from continuing to advocate for Tibet. In the years following the controversy, Sharon has remained steadfast in her support for the Dalai Lama and the Tibetan people. She has continued to use her platform to raise awareness about the ongoing human rights violations in Tibet, even as she has navigated the complexities of speaking out on such a politically sensitive issue. The incident also highlighted the broader challenges faced by celebrities who engage in activism. In a world where every word and action is scrutinized, it can be difficult to advocate for causes without facing backlash or controversy. However, Sharon's resilience in the face of this criticism is a testament to her dedication to the causes she believes in. The broader impact of the Dalai Lama's teachings on Sharon Stone's life. Sharon Stone's relationship with the Dalai Lama and her embrace of Tibetan Buddhism have not only influenced her activism but have also had a profound impact on her personal life. The teachings of compassion, forgiveness, and nonviolence that she has learned from the Dalai Lama have shaped how she approaches her relationships, her work, and her sense of self. One of the most significant ways that the Dalai Lama's teachings have influenced Sharon is through the concept of bodhicitta, or the mind of awakening. In Tibetan Buddhism, bodhicitta refers to the desire to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of all beings. It is the practice of selflessness and the recognition that true happiness comes from helping others. For Sharon, this concept has become a central philosophy in her life. She has often spoken about how the Dalai Lama's teachings have inspired her to look beyond her own needs and to focus on the well-being of others. This has manifested not only in her activism but also in her relationships with family and friends. Sharon has described how she strives to embody the principles of compassion and kindness in her daily interactions, recognizing that every person she meets is deserving of love and respect. The Dalai Lama's teachings have also helped Sharon navigate the challenges of fame. In a world where public figures are often expected to maintain a certain image or persona, it can be easy to lose sight of one's true self. However, through her conversations with the Dalai Lama, Sharon has learned the importance of self-awareness and humility. She has spoken about how these teachings have allowed her to remain grounded. Even in the face of public scrutiny, Sharon Stone's broader social activism, a life of compassion in action. While Sharon Stone is perhaps best known for her advocacy for Tibetan freedom, her commitment to social justice extends far beyond this cause. She has been a passionate advocate for a wide range of humanitarian issues, including HIV, AIDS awareness, women's rights, and environmental sustainability. One of the causes that Sharon has been particularly involved in is HIV, AIDS awareness and prevention. Through her work with AMFAR, the Foundation for AIDS Research, she has helped raise millions of dollars for AIDS research and prevention. Her involvement in this cause reflects her belief in the importance of compassion and kindness. Values that she has learned from the Dalai Lama. Sharon's activism is deeply rooted in the principles of interdependence and interconnectedness that she has embraced through her study of Tibetan Buddhism. The Dalai Lama teaches that all beings are connected and that one person's happiness depends on the well-being of others. Sharon has taken this teaching to heart, recognizing that by addressing the suffering of others, we can create a more peaceful and just world. In her philanthropic work, Sharon has demonstrated a willingness to use her fame for good, lending her voice to causes that might not receive as much attention in the mainstream media. Her dedication to humanitarian work has earned her numerous awards and accolades. Further solidifying her reputation as a socially conscious celebrity, the legacy of Sharon Stone's compassionate activism. Sharon Stone's journey from Hollywood star to compassionate activist is a remarkable story of personal and spiritual transformation. Her relationship with the Dalai Lama and her embrace of Tibetan Buddhism's teachings on compassion, forgiveness, and nonviolence have shaped her into a powerful advocate for human rights and social justice. While her activism has not been without controversy, Sharon's commitment to promoting compassion and human rights remains steadfast. She continues to be a voice for the oppressed, embodying the values she learned from the Dalai Lama in both her personal life and her public advocacy. Her story is a testament to the transformative power of spiritual teachings and the importance of using one's platform for the greater good. Sharon Stone's legacy as a compassionate activist will undoubtedly inspire future generations to follow in her footsteps, recognizing that true fulfillment comes not from fame or success but from living a life guided by kindness, humility, and compassion. Conclusion: Sharon Stone's journey as an inspiration for us all. Sharon Stone's journey is one that resonates with all of us, reminding us of the importance of compassion, forgiveness, and the power of using our voices for good. Her transformation from a Hollywood icon to a dedicated advocate for Tibetan freedom and human rights reflects a deep personal and spiritual awakening that continues to inspire others. In a world that often prioritizes self-interest and material success, Sharon's story reminds us of the value of looking beyond ourselves and recognizing our interconnectedness with others. Her relationship with the Dalai Lama has not only shaped her life but also inspired her to take action on behalf of those who cannot speak for themselves. Isn't her journey a powerful reminder that we all have the capacity to make a difference? Sharon Stone's story is not just about her personal transformation, it's a call to action for all of us to embrace compassion, to stand up for justice, and to use our own platforms, no matter how small, to create positive change in the world. As we reflect on Sharon Stone's remarkable life, we are left with one question: how can we, too, live a life of compassion, kindness, and purpose? After all, as the Dalai Lama teaches, compassion is not just a feeling, it's a way of life. And through her example, Sharon Stone has shown us just how powerful that way of life can be.